Imagine opening your browser and instead of opening Facebook or Reddit or Twitter, instead you see a 3D landscape that you can physically move around in, where you're browsing the web in a virtual world. If you want to talk to people, you have to go to a different location in that land. If you want to upload pictures, then you'll have to reach a nearby spot. For every task you want to perform, you have these 3D real life looking hubs spread across this virtual reality. And that to many people is the future of web browsing. Web 3.0 is really about pushing the technology to move us from a 2D browsing experience to a 3D browsing experience. For example, if I make a Zoom call to my family at the other side of the planet, I just see them on the screen in 2D. But with Web 3.0 and the metaverse, in the future I could have that person sat in the room with me in a virtual world with virtual reality, or even physically sitting in the same room as me with augmented reality technology, maybe in the form of a hologram. So the conversation would then become far more natural because they would be sitting right there next to me. But to really understand what Web 3.0 is, we have to go back in time and look at the first two versions of the web, Web 1.0 and Web 2.0. So Web 1.0 refers to the first stage of the World Wide Web evolution, lasting from 1989 to 2005. And it was very much a read-only web. There were very few content creators. It was almost like the whole web was just one big Wikipedia page. The era of Web 2.0 started around 2005, and it's the web we're familiar with today, the age of social media. Almost all of us watching this video, content creators, we have our own social media pages, we communicate in real-time chat messaging, whereas with Web 1.0, data just tended to travel one way, from the website to the consumer. But with Web 2.0, it's more interactive and data is traveling both ways, from producer to consumer to producer. Now, Web 3.0 is the next generation of the internet that will be more powerful, smarter and faster. It will be driven by people instead of giants like Facebook, Google or Amazon, and there will be far less censorship. Finally, people will have access to the internet at all times through any and every object that we see around us. Web 3.0 is really designed to combat a lot of the problems with our current Web 2.0. So for example, right now, consumers are products. The most popular services we use, such as Facebook and Google, are also the ones that collect our data. So data that can not only track our movements and actions and behavior and psychology, but can predict all of this too. And this data is taken from us knowingly and unknowingly, and it's essentially sold to other companies who want to reach us with their products. Nothing explains it better than Facebook ads. Our data is sold to companies, and in turn their products and services are advertised back to us. So in essence, we are the products without even realizing it, and in the long run it affects everything we do, and the Trump elections were a classic example of this. Cambridge Analytica systematically tracked users who could be swayed to vote for Trump and was successful in doing so. It targeted all those users with ad campaigns and information that would lead them to vote for Donald Trump. Web 3.0 goes in part to fixing that problem by decentralizing ownership, meaning that no one company will have the power to access or use your data. It's all yours. And this leads me to the second challenge with our current Web 2.0. The most powerful companies in the industry just keep getting more and more powerful. Industry giants today have a lot of authority. You could even argue, in many ways, these tech giants are even more powerful than entire governments. They have the power to censor information, to decide who gets to access their products or their competitors' products, and they have significant influence over what we see every day. The information that we read, the videos that we watch, they can control that. It's an extremely powerful position to be in, and of course that authority can be abused. With Web 3.0, the technology is progressing to fix this exact problem, again by decentralizing authority so that no one company has so much power. Another quite significant difference from Web 2.0 to Web 3.0 is that there will be far more automation. So right now with Web 2.0, there is usually a single authority, meaning that most operations currently happen in a centralized manner. So for example, all data that I type into Google search goes to a set of servers that Google obviously own. It is then modified, accessed or deleted from these central servers, and because of this, that whole process is very inefficient. Furthermore, because of the centralized nature of these processes, a lot of operations are run by humans, so people have to manually oversee these operations. Again, this is inefficient because it leads to processes and workflows that are riddled with loopholes and flaws, because at the end of the day, humans are less efficient and make make more mistakes than a full automated process. So for example, if someone went out clubbing on Sunday night and came into work on Monday morning with a huge hangover, it's unlikely they'll be performing at their best. Obviously, an automated process wouldn't have this problem, so Web 3.0 is really about automating processes to run faster, to run smarter, and most importantly, to run more efficiently. So today, Web 3.0 is almost an abstract idea that is still not well defined. In a way, you could say that it's an amalgamation of many different features that people think would be an integral part of Web 3.0. Furthermore, this idea of Web 3.0 is a futuristic vision that won't occur overnight, but will likely be an evolutionary process that will happen over the next 5 or so years. So what exactly are the main standout features of Web 3.0? Decentralization. As mentioned earlier, if all information is stored on central servers now, with Web 3.0, it would be distributed amongst various systems all across the globe with the help of blockchain technology, so the information is divided among a variety of computers, networks, and nodes. In many cases, virtual currencies make use of this decentralized system to attain levels of privacy and security that are typically unavailable to standard currencies and their transactions. People-driven. Web 3.0 will give people the authority to decide how their favorite platforms or websites should evolve and grow, and this means the authority will be taken from giants like Facebook and Google, and all the platforms that people use will become more community-driven. And this is known as a true democracy, and it can be enabled with decentralized autonomous organizations, or DAO. And you might have come across this term quite often over the last few months. A DAO is essentially an organization that is designed to be automated and decentralized. Its main purpose is to act as a form of venture capitalist fund without a typical management structure or board of directors. So it's completely decentralized, meaning that human error or manipulation of investors' funds is eliminated. They will have their own tokens known as governance tokens, and anyone who owns them can vote on how the platform should grow and evolve. Smarter and more powerful. With the help of technologies such as artificial intelligence, the internet will become more and more powerful. It will help people process information faster and more efficiently. So computers will be able to kind of understand information like humans through technologies such as natural language processing. Web 3.0 will also use machine learning, which is a branch of AI that uses data and algorithms to imitate the way that humans learn, gradually improving its accuracy. And these capabilities will enable computers to produce faster and more relevant results. Internet access. With the help of the Internet of Things, which is simply put multiple devices connected to each other, all devices could become smart devices. Therefore, humans will have access to the internet at all times, which will increase the efficiency of our everyday lives. So for example, your smart fridge will know when you're running out of milk, and so it will automatically order milk for you online, and it will shop around for the cheapest price and then have it delivered to your door. So now you don't have to pop out to the supermarket to buy milk. You don't have to worry about running out because your fridge will do it all for you. Spatial internet. The internet of the future won't merely be websites with pages that you just scroll down to navigate. It will turn into 3D virtual lands that people can travel into virtually for their different purposes. An interesting example of this is Decentraland. So relatively recently, a virtual piece of land in Decentraland was sold for about $2.4 million. And here, auctions of virtual fashion designs and attire take place. And these virtual items can be used as skins for avatars in games, for example. Ownership. This is perhaps one of the biggest advantages of Web 3.0. Instead of treating people as products, people will be treated as owners. And this means that people can own the things that they put on the internet and even have a chance to earn from them. In fact, this aspect of Web 3.0 is already being implemented in blockchain gaming. With this, people can own the assets that they buy within a game and then go ahead and sell them. For example, a game might have different kinds of weapons and skins, etc. But when people buy these, they will be able to truly own them and move them to the next game. Because currently with Web 2.0, that's quite difficult to do. When you buy an item in Fortnite, for example, you can't then move that same item into another game. It's stuck in Fortnite. So as you can see, Web 3.0 is an amalgamation of multiple ideas, concepts, and features that when brought together will form the internet of the next era. However, there are multiple challenges in the way before we can build Web 3.0. Currently, blockchain technology has a scalability scalability issue, which means that if more people start using it, it can't efficiently manage them all. Secondly, there is a gap between the general public and these kinds of emerging technologies because it's difficult for people to understand them and their underlying aspects. So adopting Web 3.0 on a large scale is going to take time. Thirdly, lack of censorship has some really big disadvantages, and this would mean that anyone can say or put out anything over the internet, meaning even extremely dangerous organizations could have complete freedom of speech. And finally, when people are given the responsibility to decide how platforms should evolve based on the governance tokens they own, it could potentially lead to only the rich making the decisions. And this way we'll be stuck in the same problem as faced in Web 2.0, since only a select few could be making the decisions. The transition from Web 2.0 to Web 3.0 will be an evolutionary process, and it will take a lot of time. So this is merely a vision for the future of the internet, and we're still a long way from that.